Nakaikot. Another really strong support core combo that look more towards the future because Hate, nung carry siya nung execration last season, we saw the potential but it was a bit rocky, and Kyrie is the carry that we label as the future. But stepping back a bit looking at the past, nung season 6, 4th place ang Onyx PH after a heartbreaking reverse sweep laban sa execration in the playoffs, where execration of course ended up being 3rd. Game win rate, 3rd, 57.14%, KDA 4th, and the rest of their stats very middle of the table. But one thing that I want Onyx PH to improve on this season, yung hero pool nila. 8 sila sa hero pool and a total of 40 nung season 6 lang. So definitely with this new, younger, fresher roster, dapat nga lang nag-improve sila ng hero pool.
Nakilala ang Onyx as being flexible with na may consistent sila na support role. So with that being out, paano sila kaya mag-a-adjust dito?
Very big adjustments for sure para sa side ng Onyx PH. Dahil alam natin ito yung kanilang main start nila to eh. Alam natin na identity when talking about Onyx PH, Oh My Venus and Wise talaga ang pinag-uusapan. Then again, this is a new era para sa Onyx PH. You asked about kung costly ba to. I'm pretty sure it is. Kasi nakikita natin sa Onyx PH na wala sila nung off-season. They really look like they're strong nung bandang November sa first iteration ng Onyx PH. But as the months go by, nakita natin na out of the MPL, nagsastruggle sila.
And Onyx PH, hopefully in the past few weeks, they were able to finally hit their stride. Pero para sa mga fans ng Onyx PH, mga matagal na nagsusuporta sa Onyx, masasabi ko lang sa inyo is patience. Be patient with this team. This is a young team. Bago pa sila. They're just trying to hit their stride. Yes, a lot of us are thinking, uy, malakas naman si Hate and Kyrie. Immediately magiging Oh My Venus at Wise na yan. Hindi. These are two different players, two younger players who are just starting to carve out their own legacies dito sa league. But at the same time, on paper, sinasabi natin na ang Onyx PH ay one of the teams na malakas talaga eh. It should be really good. The potential is off the roof. But the question is, are they gonna hit that potential against the champs?
Balikan natin ang kanilang nakaraan. They almost close to getting MPL titles nung kanilang first 2 seasons. Nagkaroon sila ng setback. Pag ganito yung mga ganap, ano kaya yung mindset ng koponan?
Well, this is no longer Oh My Venus and Wise focus team. Of course, Dilar, Iaco, even Jay there still feel that sting. But at least now there are veterans na gutom na manalo ng championship. They are the ones trying to pave the way and lead the way for these younger players. And hopefully that's what happens for Onyx.
Onyx is gonna have one tough game ahead dahil makakalaban nila ang mga kampiyon. Let's welcome Bren. Esports, sobrang solid ng kanilang lineup. Actually, all-star team to na nabuo pagkatapos ng SEA Games. Pag tingnan natin ang kanilang roster, walang nagbago sa kanilang lineup. At sabi nga ni Wolf kahapon na, is it smart? May pros and cons now. Balikan natin yon.
I think that for the case of Bernie Sports, dahil sila ang champions, don't fix what's not broken, di ba? And one thing naman sabi ko sa Bernie Sports is that this is an evolving team pa rin. Lalo nung unang best nakita natin yung iteration nitong squad nila right after the Southeast Asian Games para kumuha sila ng mga All-Stars. Nagkaroon sila din ng mga problema. So that might be also what is happening with Onyx, di ba? It wasn't as clear at first when you're porting all of those superstars or stars in the making. Pero after 2 seasons, kitang-kita natin, my God, the most dominant performance for a team all throughout the season, definitely in this squad.
Yeah, look at that. Game win rate 85%, 4.46 in the KDA, only second. Bit of middle of the table stats for Bren, for first blood, average turtle kills, average lord kills, and hero pool, but man, it's one of those funny situations where the stats don't show everything. Maybe Bren isn't that perfect in terms of getting the objectives, and maybe that's something they can improve on. And it's something that they worked on and really put a lot of focus on. Nung M2, the World Championship, of course, you can see that very rocky road, starting it off no upper bracket semifinals. That hurt, seeing them lose to Burmese Ghouls. They had to go through the MYSG champion Stodak. They had to go through the team that beat them in MPL Invitational Alter Ego, where they got swept, and then they took down the King of Kings RRQ Hoshi to eventually come back with a 4-3 reverse win against Burmese Ghouls in the grand finals. That was an unforgettable experience.
Titignan natin ang team matchup natin for today. And this head-to-head is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94, available starting March 26 in Oppo Concept Stores, retail partners, and e-com platforms. Ang team matchup natin dito, Onyx versus, ayan, head-to-head, new challenge. Yung Onyx, di ba? New challenge kasi itong Onyx na wala sila ng consistent support role. Itong Bren naman, back-to-back title na, uy, one time lang to nagawa. So sabi nga nila, yung pag-defend daw ng isang titulo, ng title, mas mahirap daw to kaysa isungkit yung kampyonato. How true is
Oh,
this?
definitely. Lalo-lalo na para sa mga champions na, I mean, sa MPL. Bernie Sports, they're up for a big challenge dahil lahat ng teams ay nakatingin na sa kanila. You know, i-throwback ko lang sa isa mga kwento natin mula kahapon at all throughout the opening of MPL Season 7. Parang sila yung big boss. Sabi natin hindi villains, pero big boss. Imagine this. Everybody knows where they are. Lahat ng game ng Bernie Sports tinitignan na. They just really want to defeat this guy. Kasi no matter what happens, kahit regular season win against Bernie Sports, ipagyayabang agad yan na kahit sino team. That's how difficult it is for Bernie Sports. Kasi sila, kahit sila nasa taas, hindi sila pwedeng magpakatamad or complacent or anything.
Tinitignan din ang mga coaches dito. Meron tayong Battle of the Coaches. Who will be head and shoulders above the competition? Put your game face on. And finally, say goodbye to those awkward #itch a GG moment. Thanks, head and shoulders. 100% dandruff-free and itch-free. Now, mas mabango pa. Silipin natin yung head coach ng parehong koponan. Etong si Coach Rio, not the same glowing credentials as Coach Ducky. Itong si Coach Ducky kasi architect ng success ng brand. Meron siyang collection of titles sa MPL, sa Nationals, and sa M2. Ito naman si Coach Rio, well, he also had a title sa Season 3.
Yeah, this is very important, Rep Tarpico and Rep Mara. Kasi ang magiging advantage ni Rio. Kasi kasabi mo lang, there's a wall of achievements na ibabangga ni Ducky kay Rio. Pero ang masasabi ni Rio, nakapaglaro ako sa top level, I made myself a champion. So baka pwede niyang gamitin na yung kanyang micro knowledge or yung kanyang mechanics over the coach. Yun lang yung pinaka-advantage na pwede niya talaga mahawakan against Ducky in this head-to-head.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. Rio is still a champion coach, but you're going up against a champion, a lot of other champion coach in Ducky. Not only is he the only two-time M2 winning coach because he was part of the coaching staff of the M1 champions EVOs. Again, Coach Bernie Sports to the MPL Season 6 title. Coach Bernie Sports to the National Season 2 title. Kakasabi mo nga lang andun yung pader of achievements for Ducky, but you are put in a position that no one else has been put on in the world. Maybe siguro nung EVOS Legends pa na, not only do you have to defend your regular season title, you have to defend the world championship now. Na masabi mo na we still deserve to be the world champions and the champions of this league. Sorry, but that is a tall task to ask for in any sport. Hindi lang sa esports. It's hard for champions to go back to back. Isipin mo pa world champions ka na.
Meron din tayong mga key players na tinututukan. And these featured players will do all they can para hindi maging GG. Bring your clay game with Master, sikreto ng mga gwapo. Ang ating mga featured players ngayon, Kyrie and Carlsen. Alam mo, there's a lot of similarities. So dati, si Carlsen ang prodigy. Napatunayan na niya ang kanyang sarili. Ngayon si Kyrie naman ang sinasabing bagong prodigy. He was also 14 years old lang to. Dati full club yung pangalan niya. Ito naman si Carlsen, Finals MVP ng Season 6 ng M2. Napakabata, 16 years old. How do you compare these two?
You know, let's first start with not comparing the stats. Kasi hindi ito fair para kay Kyrie to compare to Carlsen. Lalo na Kyrie came from a little bit of a, medyo mababa yung win rate or at least yung performance na team from previous season. However, masasabi ko para sa pares na player na to is that they are players with a killer instinct. Yan yung hinahanap kasi nung MPL Season 6 eh. Ang teams na successful nung MPL Season 6 ay yung mga teams na may core players na may killer instinct. Yung hindi masyadong safe pero hindi rin masyadong nag-throw. Yung talagang gustong makatapos ng laban.
As much as people really want to see the Kyrie versus Carlsen matchup, my question is, are we actually going to get that? Kasi kung if you watch the previous performances of Onyx PH in other tournaments locally dito sa Pilipinas, nag-lane switch sila nila Kyrie at Hate. Minsan si Hate yung nag-mid, then si Kyrie yung pupunta sa jungle, minsan naman si Hate ang pupunta sa mid, I mean, the other way around, vice versa is what I'm trying to say. So as much as people want to see the Carl versus Kyrie matchup, are we going to get that is my biggest question right now. And based on the lane prediction, it seems like Kyrie is gonna end up playing the mid lane and si Hate naman yung mapupunta sa jungle. Not to diminish yung head-to-head, this is still a matchup to look forward to. But all I wanna say here is that don't count out Hate. Hate is a good carry in his own right.
Pag tinignan natin ang dalawang kupunan, yung isa walang changes, yung isa may mga bagong talagang leader dati sa other team. Now, sino dapat dito ang may advantage?
Well, in the sense, it has to be Brand Esports. Kasi, sorry, for Brand Esports, yung pinakamalaking kalaban nila is yung sarili na nila. Can they keep improving? Can they get better? That's a big question for Brand. What about you?
That's definitely the advantage ng Brand Esports. Kasi rebuilding process pa yung side ng Onyx PH. And sobrang visible niya sa mga off-season tournaments ng Onyx PH. And nangyari na rin ito sa Brand before. At nahirapan din sila noong una nila. And I think that them knowing that kind of knowledge, pwede pa nilang lalong bully, quote-unquote, kasi ng Onyx PH or maging mas offensive pa against them.
Omlet PH versus Brand Esports, malapit na magsimula. Ano nga ba ang ine-expect nyong makita na alam nyo, tinututukan din ating mga manonood?
Aggressive Brand.
Definitely, hindi pwedeng magbakawala. Pedal to the metal, Brand Esports.
Eto na! Magsisimula na ang bakbakan! Onyx PH versus Brand Esports. Punta na tayo sa ating casters, ang analyst and anchor. Pasok!
We will definitely wait and see as we head into game here. Of course, MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free in the game rate with Smart free games for all. I'm going to be your caster, we're going to be your casters. I'm Rockhart, alongside Womi, and we will be bringing you the action as we head into match number 2 of the day. The Pretty Boys and Young Bunny players of Onyx PH versus Game 7 World Champion Brand Esports, heading into week number 1, day 2. How are you feeling, Omi?
I'm feeling pretty good entering day 2 of the MPL Season 7 regular season. Quite excited to see on what Brand Esports did in the off-season, especially against a rebuilding Onyx PH. So I feel like this is the time for them to flex their muscles, fresh out of the World Championship, up against a rebuilding team. Quite the show for Brand Esports, but let's see. Onyx PH might just have a surprise for us.
That's right, and the great thing about that is we will have to find out in the draft. So who will make the smart choices in the draft? Catch it next. Brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Again, the feel free to game great with smart free games for all, which you can definitely have it on my phone. We'll head into the draft shortly. And again, champions have been made by this guy on the draft, Coach Ducky for Brand Esports. You cannot really count in one hand what he has done for a lot of teams in Mobile Legends. On the other side, again, we got championship experience from Rio, as well as a very young team behind him. And the draft is going to be a little bit different, probably because of the composition of his players. So, what do you think about this? I mean, who has the edge in the draft here?
Well, speaking of edge and smart decisions for the draft, I'm really excited to see on how this international experience coming in from Brand Esports will help them deciding better in our draft for this game. Considering that we are seeing a lot of new picks because of the new patch with that main pick from yesterday, we're expecting a lot of new things as well. That international experience is a big boost, but you need to make sure to experiment with the new things as well, because as far as I know, I think the nerfs were targeted because of the things that happened actually in M2.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, a lot of these things have been what Brand Esports themselves did. And they were, a lot of players were looking at it, the game itself was thinking, you know what? We gotta make some adjustments, or else Brand Esports is just gonna destroy everyone again. And maybe that's gonna be affecting the gameplay in the draft of Brand Esports, because like we mentioned, or like Wolf and the rest of the panel mentioned, there were a lot of changes that happened throughout the off-season, and Brand Esports, we got very little information about that. So, let's go into it, and we got some bands already popping up here. We got the Jawhead, the Wan Wan, and the Natalia. Brand out for Brand Esports. Not that different, actually, if I may say so myself. Versus Brody and Selena here for Onic. They know what Brand Esports likes.
Yeah, Onic and Brand are banning out quite standard bans, actually, for both teams here. They're not banning out anything targeted just yet. These are extremely powerful picks in the current meta. A lot of the competitive teams out there actually draft, or maybe if Mathilda is left open, or Natalia, even Natalia never gets open across that.
Never.
But we did see Mathildas yesterday, so
the Mathilda tanks, the off-tank Mathildas, man, those are crazy. I'll be straight with you, and it's not gonna be any different for sure. Lusty, most likely Lusty is gonna be the one to pick this up. The fun thing about Brand Esports is they also can flex.
Yeah.
You can use it, Rebo can use it, and that's also what makes this team just so scary.
Yeah, that's the beauty of having players that have a shared hero pool. Apart from having a unique or a vast hero pool, having a shared hero pool just gives them the opportunity to flex out picks and just have more freedom inside the draft. And we were talking about the Mathilda. It's already locked in by Brand Esports. And for Onic PH, looks like they're hovering over this Paquito. Let's see what else are they going to pick for their first rotation picks here. Gotta say though, this Paquito, I'm liking it. Together with the Cho, they're both good frontliners and allows the team, or allows Onic to have a lot of flashy plays. But speaking of flashy plays, Rockhart, this is a Benedetta coming in from Brand Esports.
So two of the best fighters being picked up by Onic PH can also be flexed into mid-lane support tanks. And on the other side, Brand Esports just getting a lot of powerful picks coming into first rotation. Benedetta very rarely gets left alone here. So I'm really wondering what Onic PH is thinking about this, leaving Benedetta in the hands of Brand Esports.
Well, Benedetta did get a few nerfs out there, but I have to say that he still looks quite powerful, looking at how Next Play won their first game in that best of 3 series early on this day.
Ryoda actually did not have a fun time in that Benedetta game. Actually, we did see it drafted out, and it did give them advantages to some extent. Same with Sylvana, right?
Yeah. And speaking of Sylvana, that's the special support that we always see to lock down a lot of mages, or lock down a lot of immobile carries out there. So I really like Sylvana picks in general, but now that we do see a Mathilda and a Sylvana on the side of Brand Esports, I feel like it's going to affect the draft of Onic PH a little bit. Now they can't draft very mobile mages or immobile heroes in general.
That's true. And again, esports poses here for Brand Esports. They look comfy, don't they? Like they're saying here, again, Sylvana kind of closes out some possibilities of mobility for Onyx PH. It deals with Paquito, it deals with the Cho as well. And I have to say, this is going to be such a good second phase draft for Brand Esports because they got a lot of things that they wanted. Chang'e kind of throws a wrench into the works, right? It's something you didn't expect, really. You don't really expect Chang'e on first rotation.
Yeah, and when we do see a Chang'e in first rotation, it kinda, I feel like at this point, Onyx PH doesn't want to reveal a few key aspects of their draft for now that they're sacrificing or maybe just compensating by getting that Chang'e early instead of locking in what they want immediately. We might be in with a surprise here coming in from Onyx PH, considering that the Chang'e, as you said, is quite odd given that it's picked already in the first rotation. But entering the second banning phase, though, we are seeing, again, quite the standard bans coming in from both teams, with a Yi Sun-shin ban from Brand Esports, and for Onyx PH, they're going to ban out an Alice, which is one of the most picked heroes so far in our 2 days of MPL.
That's right, almost every team has that Alice as an anchor on the gold lane so that they don't get away. They have some sort of an insurance policy in the late game, and it works very well. It's more likely hitting than missing. More than 70% probably so far. And right now, though, Uranus is surprisingly banned out by Brand Esports, although Rebo does love that hero, man. Rebo loves himself some Uranus. It's weird to say that, but Hate also is one of the guys.
That was quite a delayed response. I was actually fixing my suit a little bit over there, but going back...
That doesn't mean anything. Don't worry. No meaning whatsoever. So, going back to this one, what I was about to say is Hate. He's one of the most flexible, one of those powerful carries that we've seen. Although in the past seasons, he didn't really look like he was on the right team. It felt like he was carrying well, but the rest of the team could keep up. Now, is Hate gonna have a fun time here in Onyx PH? What do you think?
Well, for Onyx PH, as we talked about earlier, they're still rebuilding, and this game will be the answer to a lot of questions that they have. Scrimmages, they matter, yes. The practice games, they matter. And the data that they get out of those practice matches are actually okay in terms of building it outside of the game. But when regular season happens, when games like this happen, this is the real answer to their existing problem. If Onyx PH loses this game, maybe this is quite understandable. They're up against the world champions. But if a problem persists up until the next few days that they do have games, then that's where you begin asking new questions. And for Onyx PH, it's all about solutions, questions, because they are in this phase where they're queenless. They want to rebuild, but going back to
that
this...
hurts. Actually, that kind of hurts. If you're like a long-time Onyx fan to hear the queenless, it kind of hurts. And that's something that's on the back of the mind of every Onyx PH fan, to be honest.
But going back to the draft, Rockhart, I think Brand Esports finally have their full sheet of heroes here. A lot of range, a lot of damage, as you said. Beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's like a real championship lineup that we see here in Brand Esports. Not just world champions, also the Philippine champions. It's a tough hill to climb here for Onyx PH, so I'm looking forward to whether or not they can control this. Yaknu back on the obviously the Khalid. Now, I don't want to do any predictions, but who do you think came out on top there on that draft?
On that draft, I feel like Bren Esports really got that win on the draft, mainly because of that Farsa pick that, it was the cherry on top for them. They already had a lot of lockdown, they already had a lot of good things happening around their draft, but capping it off with that Farsa was indeed the cherry on top for me, giving Brand Esports the win in that draft.
There we go, and we are headed into the game here. Brand Esports versus Onyx PH. We're week 1, day 2, and again, we are playing into the game. Once more, of course, MPL Philippines Season 7 is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Sport. And straight to the fight, we got Jay. Soaking up a lot of damage on the mid lane. Also see a little bit of an engage here for Lusty, trying to go for a bit of a rasp before they can take that buff. And a big fight here happening. He doesn't really want to go for the engage, does he?
Yeah, I feel like Bren Esports here just trying to go with an aggressive play early on, but still trying to maintain a safe distance. It was quite effective, but Onyx PH still got what they wanted out of that fight, and now we're seeing quite the rotation coming in from Lusty. We'll meet Chang in that bush though. Lusty might be in trouble, but he already knows that he has his escape with that rune out there.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, man. Lusty, give him a hero that can do some good damage. He is going to come away with the game. And so far, even at level 1, doing quite a good amount of roaming and giving a lot of information over to Bren Esports.
Yeah, and information is king here. Jay, though, will find Lusty. Might be in a 2v1 situation, but Lusty has always been quite calculated in moving around the map. And this roaming and information gathering for Bren Esports, the question remaining is, what will they do with that information?
That is a good one. So far, I feel like what Bren Esports is doing is just they're taking it a little bit slower here, knowing that they kind of have to buy some time here for Carl TZ to get activated on the Benedetta, who is actually currently double buffed here. So he's going to be able to take some resources away from the Onyx jungle here. But Jay, he still got some good idea of what's happening on the map, though.
Yeah, but looks like Bren will start the turtle here. Will they secure it with a retribution? I think they will.
Yep.
This is a fight.
That's a big one. Carl TZ with a turtle buff. That is so scary. First blood over the flap with the brother coming in close here. He's very low, but does it matter? Apparently it does. Kyrie with a kill of his own. Carl TZ, he's not done. He's got the turtle. He's got the buffs, and he's going to go with the kills.
And the sword intent coming in huge for Carl TZ, repositioning, getting kills, getting what he wants in that fight. That gives Bren 3 kills plus the turtle. Might be a 2v1 here. Onyx J.
Look at that, man. Just beautifully done. I feel like Carl TZ is a great guy to put on the Vendetta. High skill cap in the hands of a very young, very talented, very aggressive player. Usually will net you good results.
Yeah, and Carl TZ, reigning finals MVP for both national and international championships with Bren Esports, and a high skill cap hero such as the Benedetta, as you said, would yield to a lot of good results here. But in the top lane, Iyaknu might find trouble in a 2v1.
Yeah, that could be bad, but so far I feel like Iyaknu is one of those veteran college players, so he's not going to go for it unless they know they can get something in return. However, Hate, of course, is not in any position to go for the fight as well, knowing that Lusty is not really showing himself on the map. So he's not really sure if he can go for the engagement or not.
Yeah, and he will be safe for now, but we are seeing at least 3 members from Bren Esports hovering towards the top side, and we're seeing Jay responding as well. This might be a possible 2v3, but looks like Iyaknu will be clearing out the minions first, which is a good indicator that he knows how to stay safe underneath that turret.
He absolutely knows what he's doing, and he is just gonna have to buckle down. He's gonna have to strap in. It's gonna be a long ride. Carl TZ with the turtle buff really is a really scary guy to deal with on the map, man.
Yeah.
It's like, where are you even gonna go? So,
but look at this though. Feel like this is quite the aggressive maneuver coming in from Bren Esports. This might be a full-on fight here. A turtle not yet started.
oh boy, it's gonna be big. We got 1 big kill for Flap TZ. Can there be more? Again, they're swapping positions so fast. I didn't even know what happened in that exchange. Turtle is back on the field. Iyaknu engages with this sandstorm, but not really hitting anyone. And that's going to be the disengage for both of our teams. And I have to say, Onyx, they are reacting so hard to whatever Bren is doing on the map.
Yeah, Bren Esports dictating the tempo right now. 5 minutes inside the game, and another turtle goes down to Bren Esports, and we're seeing a roughly 3k gold lead for the side of the reigning world champions. Rather, we're not seeing turrets going down just yet, but for the objectives existing, such as the turtle, Bren Esports already have at least a 2-turtle lead against Onyx PH here, which might be huge if you're talking about the mid-game power spike.
It really is. I feel like this is something that Bren Esports just really loves to come out on top with. And you know what? They're happy with where they are, I think. At this point, 4-1, that's not a big deal so far for Onyx PH. They can hold on for dear life, but they will get dove in anyway by Brian Esports. We got some pretty big engages. Carl TZ happy with the turtle buff. Look at the aggression that he's showing right now. Iaknu, again, very veteran on the Khalid already, just gubs out with his luck.
Yeah, but off cam though, Lusty did fall down to the Chang'e. And Chang'e getting that 1 kill, he makes him go 2-0 already. That's a lot of gold going towards the Chang'e. Might be enough though, 2v2 here in the top side.
It's a big 2v2. Jay again controlling that very, very well. Rebo with the feather airstrike as usual. The GOAT, the greatest of all time, still playing very well. And, Kyrie with a fadeaway there. Oh, man.
Kyrie was a little bit too aggressive there in the mid lane. Must have been his confidence. He was 2-0 when he tried that play, and now he's 2-1. But speaking of 2-1, there's a 2v1 here at the bottom side.
Look at this guy, D-Lar. He's going nuts here right now on the Bajito. A little bit more, and that could have been a lot of deaths for Bren Esports. But so far, Bren respecting the opposition very well here. And this is a good sign for Onyx. At least they have some fight in them, despite being down 3,000 gold in the game.
Yeah, and for Bren Esports, Flap TZ and Carl TZ, the TZ brothers, doing well with both bragging that 2-0 scoreline as they try to take down this third turtle of the game. Will they be able to zone out Odic PH here? We do see Iaknu just hovering over the corner. Will the steal happen?
That's very unlikely. Third turtle of the game going over to the Prodigy, to Carl TZ. But of course, will be traded with a tower real quick by Onyx on the bot side.
Well,
now, that's going to mean that more control is going to go over to Bren, but can there be more?
Yeah, one turret for each team here. The top side for Bren Esports, for Onyx PH, they did get that bottom side. Might be good for them if ever they try to take down the door, but they try to take down each other.
That is big. Flap TZ again with a kill on the Kyrie. That's 2 for this guy. And they are falling apart real quickly here in the mid lane. Yaku very low as well. Activates a quick sand guard to get back up in. They can defend, but so far, the pressure is real coming from Bren Esports.
Yeah, the pressure is real coming in from Bren Esports as they just... They've been pressuring Onyx PH.
Right now.
Everything inside the map is just working out for Bren Esports. Onyx PH has been responding left and right to Bren Esports, but not really taking their own objectives, which is a big indicator where Onyx PH, they need to make their own plays and not just adjust and readjust over to the next place of Bren Esports.
And to be fair, they are trying to buy time for Hate to get activated on the Roger. With the Windtalker on, maybe they want to go for more fights, but so far Lusty and Rebo has been so proactive in activating the fights. Few on the Sylvana. This is the perfect guy to hold this hero. Good control each and every time he goes into a fight. We might see a big one here under the turret. We got 3 members of Onyx in with a great way of the dragon, and Few will be able to comedic lance out of there with a spiral strangling. He will take on D-Lar.
Oh my god, the execution coming in from Bren Esports is super clean. It feels like they didn't even take a break in the off season. They're as in form in their world championship here. And looks like the Lord will be spawning and they'll be taking the turret in the mid lane for now. Bren Esports looking to take down Onyx PH.
Gotta go for the Ragey Sandstorm away, playing defensively as Onyx PH is. Electro Final Blow zones out those minions. And Carl TZ, still very much hungry for blood, is very low though, will be forced to back off. And again, as you said, we got the Lord spawned up. This should be an easy take for Bren, if only they had health. So far right now, Onyx is a lot more healthy, so they can go for fights if they wanted to. But again, the confidence of Bren Esports is just something that kind of takes you by surprise sometimes.
Yeah, and not just the confidence, the map control as well. I feel like their confidence is reflecting on the control that they have inside this map. We are seeing from bot lane, top lane, mid lane, whatever lane you're talking about, it's just pushing towards the favor of Bren Esports. And map control is key to winning games. When you control the map, you get more resources, you get more gold. As you can see on our graph out there, it's always been in the hands in Bren. It only grows as they control the map even further. But in the bottom side, Sylvana, try to escape. Let's go back to the top side. The turret will fall down to Bren Esports, and we're looking at a 5k gold lead.
That's a big one. Again, Few will get taken out without any answer for Bren Esports, except for Leslie going in for Kyrie. Will be damaged up right really heavily. Flickers out just for the defense. You go the meteor shower. Oh, that's a lot of damage. It really does hurt. carlsen goes for chase. That's Hate with a 1v1. It's a 1v3 actually. And everyone from Bren is just not in position to back up carlsen. Again, there you go. Flapteezy tries to go for the backup. Reggie Sandstorm to force a fight, but Flapteezy, he is just nowhere to go for safety. And Hate, he gets a kill. That's free down for Bren Esports.
Oh no, Jay might be in trouble here, but looks like Rebo won't get the kill. Onyx PH starts the Lord, and this might be used. They're low on HP. Feathered Airstrike.
Very low with a Feathered Airstrike. Imperial Justice locks down Hate. He can't do anything except like and bounce in, and he takes out Few. Can there be more? Two members of Onyx PH. Very low. Kyrie, no man as well to go for the fight. Lusty with, of course, the soaring eagle there, or the circling eagle, will be able to dive in, but that should be the end. Onyx PH, they don't want anything to do with this one right now with Rebo and Lusty. What a scary combination.
Just when you thought Onyx PH choked out Bren Esports, gave them a taste of their own medicine with the pressure, Rebo comes in, gets a few not pickoffs, but actual damage around the Lord area. They immediately respected it, and that was an instant recovery coming in from Bren Esports, and that's how you look at our reigning champions. The instant recovery from a bad play. Onyx PH could have taken control of this game if they got that Lord, but at the end of the day, Rebo was more than enough. The play, the damage, it was more than enough to just take them out before the Lord was even taken.
That was a great in-game, that's basically in-game game sense, right?
Yeah.
That is just knowing where and when you're needed, and they wrapped it up really nicely.
Yes.
Now, we're gonna have to wait and see. The goalie is not that big, mind you. So we're at around 4K at 12 minutes. That's not that big. Yaku, though, really caught out here.
Oh no.
Reggie Sandstorm locks two of them down.
Oh no.
Meteor shower. There's good damage, but Flapteezy, he is so tanky. Electro Final Blow will enable carlsen to get out of there right in time. But look, they're not done. They want to go for Hate. Hate is very low and gets taken out. That's a double kill for the Benedetta. And Lusty, he wants more. He wants blood. Kyrie will get hit on, and as well as Jay. Very low. Good damage out from Bren Esports, and still on the PH. They're not giving the game out just yet.
Yeah, and just when you thought Onyx PH is back in this game, looks like they're gonna pull off a play here.
That's a big one. Oh my gosh, though. The Meteor Shower not really hitting the mark, but it does enough. That's a two-man stun here for Delar. The damage from Electro Final Blow is real. Certainly Eagle at the backside puts Carry very low. Cannot help his teammates. Jay is there.
Oh, no.
He's left all alone. That's 2 for none for Onyx PH. Will also have to fall back. And now Bren Esports, they are mad.
Yeah, they got the engage that they want. Onyx PH got a good engage. We have to admit, that was the correct play. But the execution afterwards wasn't that good. And Bren Esports picking up 2 kills, and this might be just more for them.
That's a lot more. Hate gets a kill, takes out Few, but will not be enough. The rest of the members are still alive here. That's 4 down for Onyx. Only Yaku's up on the field. He's a little bit far off, but the Lord is only around half. We also have some very low HP members from Bren here, so I don't think they're going to be able to completely pull it off, but looks like because Yaknu backed off, they will be able to take the Lord.
Yeah. And actually, good item pickups coming in from Bren Esports here. Looks like they're gonna have this certain power spike for the next fight. And this is a fight that will happen with the Lord hanging around in the top side as well for Bren Esports. They might be able to close this game out, or at least clear out several turrets in one big push. But for Onyx PH, they do have the resources to defend. As you said earlier, the goal lead wasn't big, but that was around 4K during that time. After 2 minutes, literally just 2 minutes, we're looking at a way different story with around 7K gold lead.
Exactly. Again, they just want to keep fighting. They know they're at advantage. Feather Airstrike puts him low. And, of course, the bravest fighter from Flapteezy will be very happy to dish out the damage. Half HP, it's not a problem. Lord is on the top. It's going to charge in. It takes out the turret as well as the mid lane. Could be another big push. One big fight here. Jay will be able to dodge out the kinetic lance, but will be enough? I don't think so. And that should be it.
Look at the damage coming in from carlsen. The Lord is just there. This is a Luminous Lord. They kill them all. And that's game 1 going to Bren Esports.
Very quick and precise. That is the brand esports we know and love. Congratulations. Again, this winning moment is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Available starting March 26 in Oppo concept stores and e-commerce platforms. So, I would say this is very classic brand esports, right? So on the PH, they were doing a lot of things right a lot of times. But what else could have they done?
Well, for Onic PH, they had the perfect calls. They knew what to do at the right time, but I'm not quite sure on how they can't end it. Like, they always start a good play, but at some point during that good call, it always turns south. And Bren Esports, they turn out with their own play, and it forces Onic PH to just respond. So I'm not quite sure on how Bren Esports is able to do that to Onic PH, who had good calls to begin with, but they just end up like losing in that trade.
Now, there are a lot of times, the biggest thing I would have to notice is that Kyrie, a lot of his meteor showers are sideways, literally turning sideways. So we'll find out if that's going to be addressed later on as we head into Midnight's analysis of that game, because I know he's going to have a lot to say watching the world champions Bren Esports play. So I hope you guys are still ready. We are going to have a game 2 later on, but for the meantime, let's pass it on over to our resident analyst, Midnight. Go ahead, give us the sitch.
Maraming salamat, casters, and it was the battle of black and yellow, but at the end of the day, it was the world champion that prevailed. Once again, welcome to the Analyst Desk. My name is Midnight. Napag-usapan natin kung bakit naging dominante ang Bren dito sa Game 1 nila against Onic PH. The answer is very simple, actually. Relentless aggression. With the draft na meron ng Bren Esports, talagang hindi nila pinahinga ang Onic PH. Although may mga spaces na parang nakakabalik ang Onic PH, it was all Bren that dictated the tempo here in game number 1. Now, we're gonna look at the post-game stats here, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. Ayan, makikita nyo rito yung stats and itemization ng Bren Esports. Key few things to note is the itemization of you. Ayos ba yun? Nag-tank item si Silvana rito alongside the tank on Lusty as well. So essentially para silang double tank dito, pero hybrid kasi mga mages to mga to, no? So Bren Esports from minute 1 nasa kanila na actually yung bola kasi yung damage output ng Onic dito is hindi kayang makipagsabayan against Bren. And with the heroes that Bren Esports have, these heroes just play very, very aggressive. Kumbaga ito yung mga heroes na magkiklear ng minion wave at mag-aharap ng gera. Nagre-reflect naman yan sa statistics ng Bren. Mamaya makikita natin actually sa highlights to kung paano nila nilaro yung early game. But essentially what Bren did here is instead of playing objectively, they played what their heroes are really good at. It's to fight heroes. They have a Matilda, they have a Sylvana. So of course, hindi talaga magpapahinga itong Bren Esports. Kapag active yung mga skills sila, kapag nakukuha nila items sila, they're always looking for a fight. And that is, once again, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. Those were the stats and the itemization of the player. Actually, si Carl TZ rito, just proved the point. Instead of going for the brute force, he went for damage items first before building up the brute force kasi hindi naman sila kulang ng sustain. Now, we're gonna look at the highlights here of game number 1. Once again, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. This is Bren Esports dictating the tempo on game number 1. Early game pa lang, magkasama na kagad yung 4 na heroes. Even the lapu-lapu from the side lane, Frap TZ. This is what actually Bren is good at doing. Once you find fights, whether it's on the purple or on the orange side, basta kung nasaan si Frap TZ, doon lagi nagro-rotate ang Bren Esports. That is key to their rotation. Kung nasa top si Frap TZ, rotate tayo sa top. Wala silang pakialam kung ano yung placements ng jungle buffs kasi these are mini objectives that Bren can contest. Look at the dive here on the bottom lane against Onic PH. It looks like a terrible decision because of the tower buffs on patch 1.6.52, but they have sustain on the Matilda as well. So hindi nila kailangan problemahin yung mga one-time pickups under the tower kasi they can do that with the Benedetta. Ito yung sinasabi natin kanina na may slight mishap on the side of Bren Esports. They decided to dive 2 towers actually on the bottom lane. Kaya nahirapan sila patayin yung Roger that in turn has gotten a kill for Onyx PH. Pero after that, Bren just resetted. Okay, sabi nila, wag na nating bigay yung mga mini objectives or yung mga micro kills to Onyx PH. Let's start playing objectively. Dito na nagsimula na pumuposisyon na yung Bren. They used Lord as bait to fight against Onyx PH. And after that, it was just Bren dictating the objective gaming. Nakuha na nila yung Lord. Let's do towers. Instead of fighting, let's actually focus on ending the game. 15 minutes is the timing here for Bren Esports. Kapag tumagal pa, baka lalo silang mahirapan because there is a Chango on the side of Onyx PH that can easily defend and destroy the heroes on the side of Bren Esports. Pero that didn't happen because Bren Esports played it confidently. Nandun yung control, nandun yung disiplina, and those are the things that will make you win games. Bren Esports, they got a 1 point on this game number 1 against Onyx PH on the back of all these player performances. Pero syempre, meron tayong MVP brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. And it is none other than the M2 MVP world champion, Carl TZ on his Benedetta. KDA of 10-1-3, net worth of 14,025, damage dealt 75,955, objective damage 5,642, with kill participation of 72%. Nakikita nyo naman, di ba, nasa stats, damage dealt sobrang taas compared sa objective damage. That's the thing. These objective damage, nangyari lang yan nung tapos na yung mga team fight. So it was Bren dictating the aggression here against Onyx PH that made them win on game number 1. Now the question is, can Onyx match the aggression of Bren Esports on game number 2? Or will the world champion still prevail and take the series against Onyx PH? Yan ang sasagutin ng ating game. So casters, back to you.
Now, if it's only matching aggression, you know what? I think they got it. But other than that, can they actually keep up? We'll have to find out as we head into game number 2 for Bren Esports versus Onyx PH. And of course, we'll have to find out who's going to make the smart choices in the draft. So catch it next. Brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Welcome back. I'm Rockhard alongside Womi. And what do you think about the analysis of Midnight? I mean, those items that we don't usually get the chance to check them right away because we're so focused on the game. What do you think about Midnight's analysis?
Well, Midnight's analysis really discussed on the micro, or maybe the things that are not that seen inside that game, the little aspects or the little things that happened in, let's say, Onyx PH's mindset, or the way they built their items, the way they're rotated. And you said a little bit about our post-game analysis earlier. You told me that the aim coming in from Kyrie wasn't that well, and I feel like adding it up with Midnight's analysis, that early Ice Queen wand on Kyrie, that could have been massive if the abilities were landing. I have to agree on that.
I mean, in fairness, you are aiming it at the world champions who kind of know how to dodge very well. Each and every one of them, most likely the most mechanically gifted players in the whole world in terms of Mobile Legends. Now, other than that, again, the picks might just be a little bit off for me, personally, because I feel like you put Kyrie on heroes like the Lancelot, like the Ling, the high skill cap heroes. Chang'e, not so much.
It's something that I have to say that Chang'e is one of the heroes that are quite beginner friendly. So putting a beginner friendly hero on a child prodigy, or someone who could play high mechanical ceiling heroes like Benedetta, Ling, Lancelot, is not gonna be too good, especially you can't utilize that talent inside Kyrie. We know that talent exists, but we have to go to draft soon. Rock hard.
Again, who's gonna make a good pick? Who will make the smart choices? Let's find out, as this is going to be brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free games for all. I feel like there's just so much to do here in the draft. We're gonna have to find out whether or not they are gonna put Kyrie back onto carry. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, you gotta put Kyrie on something that can utilize his mechanical prowess. Mages are more for decision making, right? I feel.
Yeah, I feel like mages are more lenient in decision or people who know the macro game better.
Yeah.
And when you look at Kyrie as a player, you've already said it. He's a child prodigy.
Yeah.
He has a lot of mechanical skill or mechanical talent inside him. If you draft a hero such as the Chang'e on him, it might not be too good or might not yield to good results. But of course, it's still going to be a good performance, but it could have been better. It could have given them the win against the world champions. But entering game 2, Rockhard, we are seeing quite the similar bands coming in from Bren Esports. It's the Natalia, the Wan, and the Jawhead, similar to game 1.
Literally the same.
Yeah,
actually.
it's literally
Not
the same.
similar,
Same for
exactly
Onyx
the same.
PH as well.
Yeah.
The same order as well.
I don't know. They probably have some very specific lineups that they've seen each other play, and they're just trying to stop those specific lineups from coming into fruition, which is definitely a very good way to look at it as well. If you're looking from the outside, but I know there's something a little bit different this time around that's gonna happen. And there you go, Mafilda. Man, that Mafilda by Lusty was just so scary. Like, no matter how well you play that game, if Lusty's coming at you and he knows he's got the full backup of a very scary Benedetta, a very scary Carl TZ, I mean, stuff was going to happen, and it just did. So banning it out is actually a very, very smart pick, or smart choice rather, for Onyx PH.
Yeah, and for Onyx PH, knowing that Lusty was one of the main factors of their not terrible, but at least not good early game, the roaming coming in from Lusty and the information given to Bren Esports in game 1 was insanely good. Banning that out, as you said, is a smart choice for Onyx PH. But after you ban out that Mathilda, what will you draft for your first 2 picks? Because Bren Esports here, they already locked in the Paquito, which is known to be quite the good solo laner, could really defend on his own, sometimes could even fight more than 3 people at once.
We saw that a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah, we saw it a little bit earlier, but not that highlighted too much. But we did see a Uranus ban coming in from Onyx, or maybe Bren last game, but I'm quite sure that Uranus was banned.
I'm pretty sure that was Onyx.
That was coming from Onyx, so they actually banned out a hero for themselves, but they actually drafted the Uranus in this game, considering that their picks back in game 1 was locking in the Paquito with the Cho, and now that the Paquito got stolen by Bren Esports, they locked in the Uranus with the Cho instead.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those old school El Clasico picks for people, or for players like Dilar, for players like Yak, who can be flexed a little bit as well between the teams. So I understand where they're coming from. Maybe they don't want that to be read out right away, but since they did see that Uranus is making a good resurgence into the meta, I think they thought this might be a perfect time to pick it up.
Yeah, and Uranus offers a lot of things, especially if you want a formidable front line, someone who could soak up lanes, someone who could just defend, or literally someone who could just soak up damage for your team, and to add up a little bit of magic damage inside the mix for Onyx PH, they're gonna draft this Lunox in as their final pick in the first rotation of picks, which means that I think they already have a lot of side laners that they could flex. These picks could be flexed on several other roles, but these are already quite good picks coming in from Onyx PH.
Actually,
if you look at,
yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually scared about the Esmeralda here, which is a great answer to the Uranus. So it's right that they did pick up the Lunox. At least they got some form of counter to it, at least.
And for Bren Esports, as you said, the Esmeralda, good counter pick against the Uranus. And this is the power of having flex picks, as you said, at Rockhard. Having flex picks, having counters, having players that could actually swap heroes is a big thing for any pro team to have. And for Onyx PH, again, this is a rebuilding Onyx PH. Exactly. Do they have that skill? We will get our answers as Game 2 starts. This is a best of 3 series, and that means if Bren Esports gets another win here, Onyx PH will not get any points for today, because if Bren Esports gets that second win, they're gonna end this day with 3 points, and that's what you want if you're in a point system based format here in the MPL.
Exactly. So Bren Esports, it's a tough barrier to beat, to be honest, but Onyx PH, they have pulled off some miracles in the past, like very good stuff, and they've also been one of the teams that has been able to beat Bren Esports previously. Not super consistently, but they are one of those teams. And very few teams can actually claim that they have been able to beat Brand Esports like in a 2-0 fashion, in a very decisive fashion. And aside from Omega, Onyx PH is one of those teams.
Yeah, and for Bren Esports, facing one of those teams that actually beat them before could be a statement for them as well. I know it's already a lot of statement considering that they've won the World Championship, they won the National Championship from MPL last season, but beating the team that beat them last season, even if it's just for one match, is already a good opener for them in the MPL Season 7 regular season. But going back to the bans, however, looks like they're going to focus, or Onyx PH is going to focus on long-range mages in their bans with the Farsa and an Eve as their final bans in this game. Meanwhile, for Brand Esports, they're going to focus on choking out the marksman in the game by banning out Yisun Shin and the Claude.
I love that, actually. That kind of stops Kyrie from going into those big ticket heroes that I was talking about. These are the heroes that you gotta put this guy in so that he can do some damage. And Bren Esports very much aware of what they need to do here in terms of the draft to slow down this guy.
Yeah, and I feel like slowing down Kyrie is the goal here for Bren Esports, considering that they did focus their bans on the marksman role on their final rotation bans by banning out Claude and Yisun Shin. But for the picks, looks like Louis Yi and Angela will be their next picks. That's, I think, one support and one solid mage in the Louis Yi, but that lacks a lot of mobility and safety if you don't put the flicker or the purify on this.
Angela. Yeah,
it's a pretty. I think it's not too safe, but in the hands of talented players, of course, they could easily maneuver their way into safety.
Yeah, another hero that really relies on your decision making when you activate Heart Guard and when you want to go for fights, whether or not you go back into the fight real quick or you save it for your teammate. That's really something that is a lot of Angela users are definitely proud of. Now, we're back on the Alice again, unsurprising at this point. And Kyrie, he's not going to be going for the big carry. Instead, Hate will be the guy to watch out for in this one.
Yeah, and for Onyx PH, locking in that Alice, we really didn't notice that much that Alice was open here, and the moment that they noticed that, oh, Alice is open, let's just lock it in. Again, Alice, one of the stronger or more contested picks in our day 2 of MPL. We already have one of our more contested picks in the Alice, and the Alice indeed, as we've seen in games that there were actually Alice's playing, it's quite the game for them always. Had good late game advantages, also good mid game plays, but also we are going into game 2.
And this is where Onyx PH really needs to shine if they want a game free against world champion Bren Esports. Back at it again, ladies and gentlemen, with the game, and I think few. What?
Ooh.
A little bit of flex there.
A little bit of flexing, a little bit of minor aggression outside of the game, which also happens inside the game.
Very passive-aggressive there for few.
Or maybe just a slight accident. But yes, we are seeing quite the standard mid-lane fanfare here. Few dealing a little bit of damage towards Kyrie, a two-man knock-up though.
Yeah, and Jay very happy to go do some poke damage, but will be answered real quick instead with Disruption coming in from Bren Esports. Few as well is a great player to put this, put the Lo Yi in. And Jay is going to be forced to flicker out while buying Hate some time to get that purple buff.
Yeah, that could have been first blood for Bren Esports if he didn't flicker in time. But, you know, the flicker in the last second always makes it quite worth it. But looks like Hate will be invaded here. He will be able to secure the orange buff, but that was too close for comfort there. Lusty almost stole away that orange buff.
You know what? I think this is just what you need to do if you are Bren Esports fighting against Onyx PH. Hate is one of the reasons why, you know, Execration was just so successful in the previous seasons as well. Getting picked up by Onyx, they know that they can't rely just on Kyrie alone. So they know, they have an idea of what they need to do to slow down Onyx, right? Shut down the jungle. But right now they want to go for more fights, and Few just caught a lot of damage there.
Yeah,
coming in front.
almost dying in that fight as well, but I love the little detail of him going back to the rotation, knowing that he's safe inside that zone. And that was respected by Onyx PH. They didn't want massive outplays to happen as well. Again, they have to stay careful. They are fighting the world champions as of now, and they're still rebuilding, but looks like they will be the one to pull the trigger here on Lusty.
Whoa! That's a great pickup there, and Lusty gets killed by Kyrie. First blood, enabling a free turtle for Onyx.
Free turtle it is as they secure the turtle, and looks like there will be a bonus
Wanna go
kill
for
as
more?
well.
And again, that's just going to be Carl TZ answering back real quick. D-Lar with a kill onto Few, and that will not be enough to answer. Carl TZ with the heart guard is able to put on some aggression.
Man, the heart guard on Carl TZ, it felt like he was, let's say, in a disadvantage, but honestly, he was the advantage that Bren Esports had in that fight. Yes, the turtle went to Onyx PH, but Bren Esports cleaned up right after. Here in the bot lane though, a 2v1 might happen, but Jay is already hiding around the corner. Lusty, he does not know that Jay is there.
Yep, and right now I feel like Jay, his roams are a lot better right now compared to last game, where last game he was getting some chip damage in, but no one was actually there to finish the job. He's got some pretty good people to finish the job for him this time around. And I think Rebo,
Lar might be in trouble here. Lar will be running away safely though. Again, this is a Uranus. Simple walk away would make the pain go away.
Yeah, consecration and the purify. That's going to be pretty big for him to be able to get out. Now though, oh my God, Kyrie. Again, a really good kill there. I'm a little surprised by what's happening here. Kyrie on the Lunox is surprisingly pretty good.
Yeah, man, we're really getting surprised by Kyrie here. 100% kill participation so far. But look at this, Hate already half on HP, but the shields are there, and Bren Esports won't continue their fight. Looking at 4 minutes inside the game, we have a 1k, no, actually just a 400 goal lead for the side of Onyx PH. Is still quite close.
Yeah, quite close indeed. I mean, I would attribute this to Flap TZ, just not ready to fight yet. He's trying to accrue some experience so he can be battle ready, but the rest of Bren Esports lineup is, if you think about it, they're actually quite squishy.
A little bit squishy, but they do have the Esmeralda. But the problem with Esmeralda, without the shield,
He's not joining the fights yet.
yeah, true, but look at this, a 3v1 here in the bottom side. That's an easy kill, plus could possibly be the first turret of the game as well, but the ulti is coming in.
It's a fake.
Oh my God, it's a fake.
It's a fake. They just slow down the push. And that's just what you do, man. You push down. You go for the diversion, and, you know, it's either there's something there or there isn't.
And the diversion there really diverted the enemy team, knowing that Onyx PH will respect, might be a big teleport coming in from Bren Esports. They immediately repositioned to safety. Could have been the entirety of the plating in the bottom side, but because of that diversion, their attention really was diverted into something else.
Yeah.
And going back to the mid lane, we have what is happening to Dlar here. I feel like he's trying to get few things happening, but what might happen is he dying to the Esmeralda. Quite unfortunate for Bren.
Camera kill over and over again.
Reverse sweep laban sa execration in the playoffs.
These
Easy, but again, just so much pressure.
Buisit dyan maganda to. Buisit dyan.
happening again for
Down on the Carl Easy, that is huge! They're fighting off under the dispersion, and Hate gets a kill again. And on PH, they're not done as of yet. They are gonna fight off aggression versus aggression in the lead of Bren Esports.
another stalemate here in game 2. We're seeing just a 300 gold lead coming in from Bren Esports, and Onic PH, they're coming up with the kills, but not so much on the objectives. We are seeing Bren Esports still getting the best of them in terms of gold flat.
The Uranus, however, the hard guard really able to buy some time here. Flap Teasy has the slowing factor of the Angela to help him out. Jay's going to be very, very low. Has to be destroyed there by Flap Teasy. Nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, and if we were talking about the group of Bren Esports here being a little bit squishy, might I just say that they're deceptively tanky instead because of the Angela. We've seen it countless times already in this game. That Angela pick is providing deceptive tankiness to Bren Esports that is baiting out Onic PH into making plays that they don't want to happen. Flap Teasy was down half HP in that fight, but the moment the Angela came in, the moment the Angela gave him enough survivability, it was more than enough for Flap Teasy to pull off great plays. But look at this, Flap Teasy might be in trouble again.
That's really saying something again. Flap Teasy on the Esmeralda. His fake tankiness is two parts. First is the shields, right? And then second is the regeneration from the Frostmoon shield. So we'll see if that's going to be a factor here coming into the fight, because Vilar seems like he's still ready to go, despite what I just said, because Flap Teasy, he's out of the question right now. Fight under the jungle here of Onic PH. Lusty, he is in a very bad position. Flap Teasy again in the middle of everyone with the hardcore action of Carl Teasy rather, and he gets some lifesteal back in. A shutdown, a very crucial one onto the Hate. Again, the intercept is real for Yaku. He dives in, he gets another, and Vilar will be the one to pick it up instead. Overall, Onic just having a lot of fun here on the bot lane. Flap Teasy, he is shielded up. That's 4 people from Onic, who is very, very scary. He's got the damage with Kyrie, he's got the tankiness with Vilar, and the minion wave is the only one that they can control. Flap Teasy re-engages with the falling Star Moon, but not really making a big difference.
And this is why you pick the Alice for Onic PH. Not only did they get 2 kills, the damage was real coming in from the Alice, the mobility and the regen, the sustainability inside the fight is actually what made the Alice good. He was 100 HP by the end of that fight, but he still survived, he still didn't give out a kill, and Onic PH, with that team fight win, actually is now up by 1k gold against Bren Esports. Again, 1k is just really small for now, but for Bren Esports, being behind is still being behind. But we're looking at Carl Teasy right now. Still good play with the Angela early on, but it wasn't enough to get them the win. That was a 4-for-1 trade in that fight, and you do not want to take that against Onic PH, who again has that Alice for late game insurance.
Yeah, the problem with that Carl Teasy Vendetta is the less targets you have, the less lifesteal you have. So the lifesteal isn't as massive as you think it should be, despite Carl Teasy being quite ahead in terms of economy. So that's why they kind of lost out on that last one. Right now, like Bren Esports, they still are lurking. They're still waiting for Onic PH to make a mistake.
Yeah, and we are looking 12 minutes inside the game. The Lord is already up near the bomb side. And if one team chokes out a play or maybe makes a crucial error around this Lord, we might see tragic turnarounds here. Onyx PH, I feel like they need to get that Lord. They need to secure that Lord to make sure that their lead will not be gone after a few bad plays. Lar here might be in trouble. Benedetta is there.
This is where Benedetta will definitely shine 1v1 in a long, prolonged fight, but that's not the case here. We got a big one around the Lord area, and that's going to be Kyrie going down. That's a killing spree for Flapteasy, but looks like he is not done. Wants to go for the fight. He has to. Oh my god, he hit the wall. He should be very, very low, and will be the winter truncheons for a few more seconds alive before he gets taken out by Bren Esports.
Bren Esports with a massive comeback with Flapteasy and the Angela connected in him. Flapteasy on this Esmeralda was just immortal in that fight. He couldn't die. The shield was there, the regen was there, the damage was too real, and everyone in Onyx PH tried to take him down. They tried to kill Flapteasy, but only to fail. And this might be a free lord for Bren Esports as they look to take it down. This is Bren Esports reversing the tides of the battle here. Now they have the lead. Now they have the Lord. What will happen next?
I mean, I'm really curious about that as well. Flapteasy with a hard card, like you said, is a literal immortal hero. And again, putting Angela on the hands of the GOAT. And as well, or rather few. The GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT.
So, the decision making is just there. The years of experience in ML, you can feel.
Yeah, and a lot of that experience also carried with the way they move around the map. Again, this is similar to what happened in Game 1. All three lanes in favor of Bren Esports with the Lord marching in the top side. They're rotating in a 1-3-1 right now with 3 members invested in the mid lane, just trying to take down turret after turret. In the top side, Flapteasy already gets that 1 turret, and in the mid lane, this will force Onyx PH to defend.
Not under turret, but Onyx is still having a hard time. Electro finally going inside the base, but still able to get out. Flapteasy, what a big monster in the middle of the fight here. D-Lord cannot sustain that the monster killed Flapteasy, and they are inside the base as of now. Falling Star Moon under the turret once more. Kyrie doing some good damage on the back foot. Ayakdu as well, going for the kills as much as he can. carlsen answers back with a kill of his own.
Yeah, carlsen still not done with this fight. They're still entering, still getting the kills. That's a double kill for carlsen. Might be a triple against Alice. That's an electro final blow. It's the damage is real. That's 2 old Spurt. Winter's Truncheon might be the last one. That's godlike for Esmeralda. And looks like it's 3 people alive for Bren Esports and for Onyx. Almost a wipe out.
Almost a wipeout, man. That's the power of the Esmeralda. The reason why it gets banned up all the time. And it looks like Onyx PH are not left with many defensive options. Dealer is back on the field. He can go for the clear. The base should be safe. But for how long? Go for the divide again. Once more, Jay with a kick off. Immortality will be popped, and the answer back falling Star Moon barely misses off on the choke. Dealer does not have enough sustain to deal with, and because of that, all inhibitors are down. Jay, very low. Kate rampaging in the middle of the fight. It's gonna be a real escape! Oh my god, and Flapteasy answers back real quick here. Kate as well will be left running as they go back to the base and clear those minions coming.
Diverting with style. Few with a big ultimate to make his team survive. What a fadeaway coming in from Few. And now we're looking at Bren Esports establishing control by putting down 3 inhibitors and not even suffering a lot of deaths. Again, mainly because of that great diversion coming in from Few. Now, the situation is this. We're 17 minutes inside this game with Bren Esports having a commanding 13k lead. Onyx PH, things are looking dark for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Onyx PH, left with no inhibitors to defend their base, they are going to have to buckle up for the long haul, as they will need to kind of wait maybe for Bren Esports to make a move, but that's very unlikely at this point in the game.
Yeah, and for Bren Esports, looks like the discipline is kicking in as well. They have the resources to just go in and try to end this, but they're still playing carefully. Flapteasy though, already in front of 2 people here. Might be pulling up a Star Moon.
That's a big miss. That could be an opening here on the PH. Can they get for more? However, DLR is put on to half like the final blow in the middle of the fight. Again, will be missing targets. And Onyx, they're surviving. They're able to stay long in this team fight. But will they get some kills? Let's find out. Flapteasy again with the Dark Guard is able to save it into half HP. But again, Rebo, his effectiveness in the fight as this game is progressing, it's dropping slowly but surely.
Yeah, and for Bren Esports, they need to close this out. This is the best option for them. Try to take down this Lord, try to wipe them out, get Audit PH while they're at their weakest, but looks like they're gonna contest this before the Lord even starts.
That's right, it's a big one. Yaknu as well gets a kill on the few. That is quite massive. And the big knock up here from Jay, that is great. However, again, legendary is the status of Flapteasy here. Will he be able to hard guard back off? There is nowhere to be found. And that's a double for Heat. Oh my god, this is the turnaround. It's a mortality there. And that will be Lusty going down real quick. And that's a triple for Heat on a Roger with Rebo to spare. Oh my god, is this a comeback?
Another 4-4-1. This time in the favor of Audit PH. It looks like they will get this 4-4 free as well. The Uranus will be forced to defend, but let's look at what happened in this replay. Look at this. No hesitation. Zero hesitation at all. Just go in. Beautiful. They knocked him up, and look at the damage just coming in from the Roger, shutting down Carlsen. It's just going on left and right for Audit PH, and now that things are going right, they have the Lord. 3 lanes are open, but this might just be the opportunity that they've been waiting for 19 minutes in.
Just as I was saying, a big boo-boo was unlikely for Brainy Sports. Sonic PH proves me wrong and comes a-swinging. Again, an opening like that is very rare, and they should fully capitalize on this.
Yeah, and looking at the gold lead, it's suddenly diminished from 13k to 2. It's all that, or not even 200 here. That's massive for Audit PH. 13k gold swing going towards their favor. Lord pushing in the top side. All lanes are quite in their favor for now, but that's not gonna last long. This might be the final fight, Rockhart.
This could be a big final fight, but Brainy Sports, they are still ready to defend. They got some pretty good gold in their members already. Jay could be big. Oh my god! Positioning is just not there for Brainy Sports at all. The Lord is proving to be a very difficult ordeal to handle as the rest of Onyx clear out the top and the middle inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, and top and mid now open for Brainy Sports. If they die here, they lose now. The Alice is inside!
Oh! That is huge, and again, the Winter Truncheon will be expended. That might be a signal for Audit PH to back off. Brainy Sports successfully defend, and they're on the chase.
Yeah, and chasing down the members of Audit PH. Will this be a fake? Oh my god, what was that? A 4-man conversion straight into the enemy hides!
And that is a kill that I did not expect. Mega kill for Hate the whole he's gonna get a kill, and that would be a big one. Few goes down. That's a double for Hate. Oh my god, they could get more. Ryu with the kill on the Angela. Flapteasy is still alive, but for how long? Jay is back on the field. He's very low, but can still stun the enemy. Flapteasy, Heart, Moon, Frostbolt, Shield. Oh my god, they take him out, and that's a monster kill. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. It's a wipeout for Brainy Sports, and Onyx PH pulled off a miracle.
Miracle comeback coming in from Audit PH here, capitalizing on the mistakes of the world champions. Here's a replay of their celebration instead. Not even the big play. We're looking at a celebration coming in from Audit PH, and what a win indeed, Rockhart. They went from 13k behind to winning the game against the world champions. If talking about an epic comeback, that's a big example of an epic comeback.
Epic comeback, Queenless. Say what you want, but Onyx PH definitely pulled off one of the most difficult feats to do in the current meta, and that is catch Brainy Sports off guard. Get the swing moments brought to you a head and shoulders. Get your J face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward itch a GG moments, just like this one. Takes his head and shoulders, 100% danger free and itch free. And now, mas mabango pa.
Yep, and mas mabango din ang nangyari sa Onyx PH. Actually, it was quite the treat. For Onyx PH already things Midnight will say.
For sure. I mean, we have to throw it to Midnight because this guy, he's unfazed. He's got the facts straight. So I want to hear what this guy has to say. As I said, this is going to be great. So let's go into Midnight for the post-game analysis.
Ocho kahabang team fight, ocho kahabang oras. Both games will go to Game 3. Grabe, Onyx PH with a comeback against Bren Esports. Once again, this is the Analyst Desk. My name is Midnight and pag-uusapan natin kung paano nga ba naka-comeback ang Onyx PH against Bren Esports. Now, these following post-game stats are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to gain great with Smart free games for all. Makikita natin dito yung statistics ng ating game. Bren Esports really did a lot on this game. Flap TZ especially on the Esmeralda with the Angela combo, no, napakarami ng shields, and they had Cartezi on the Benedetta. Same formula ng game 1, relentless aggression, but this time around they can close the objective gaming against Onyx PH. If you look at the side of Onyx, there's a lot of minion wave clear dito on their side, and they're sustained. Then they can defend their base for all day long, and that's the reason why they are able to come back against Bren. Napaka-crucial nung item pickup ni Iyak rito, the Winter Truncheon and the Brute Force Breastplate. It allows the sustain for Onyx PH to become the weapon of their choice against Bren Esports. Kasi Bren Esports dito, they need to take down heroes, and if they can't, Onyx PH can just reset their position and take the fight into Bren. They have the ability to do so. They have the Lunox, they have the Cho, and they have the Roger. These mini pickups that will happen on team fights are inevitable. And that again, ladies and gentlemen, is the post-game statistics brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. And makikita natin in just a bit yung mga highlights. No, I'm really sure excited kayo dun sa final play ng Onyx PH. And dito natin makikita yung mga turning moments, no, ng Onyx PH as to how they held their ground against Bren Esports. These highlights are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. And again, early game, Bren Esports, they were looking for the aggression, but the sustain is there, the fighting prowess is there as well. Kung makikita nyo yung kill score, it's 7-11. Hindi tayo nagpa-plug dito, no, pero yun lang talaga yung kill score. But then again, the sustain factor of the Uranus and the Alice makes it really hard for Bren Esports to actually fight. For the entire early game, nakikita natin na okay, yung gold lead at yung kill lead nasa Bren Esports pa rin, pero the maneuver is naghihintay lang talaga sila ng perfect timing dito for Bren. No? Once na nag-online na yung Esmeralda Angela combo nila, then that's the time they started looking for the objectives against Onyx PH. It came to a point na okay, basag na yung tatlong bases ng yung tatlong tower ng Onyx PH, and they tried to make the final play. They want to eliminate all the heroes of Onyx PH inside their base, but that is really hard. It's still a Uranus and an Alice. Ito, yung specific timing na hinahanap natin, yung turning point ng Onyx PH, the Winter Truncheon play into the Jeet Kondo, yung final Jeet Kondo combo ni Cho, knocking up 3 or 4 heroes on that specific fight, and after that, it was just hate on the Roger securing the cleanup kills for Onyx PH. Pero syempre, hindi pa rin natatapos dyan. At this point on, itong moment na to, ramdam natin kulang na yung damage output ng Bren Esports. Ngayon, makikita nyo rito, no, if we can actually go back to the screens para ma-highlight natin yung game natin dito. Iyak, no, with the Alice sustaining the damage output of Bren Esports. Nakita natin na control yung 4 na heroes dito actually, and after that it was just Onyx PH dictating the fight. Etong eyebush na to, sobrang importante niyang eyebush na yan. Once na tumawid si Iyak no dyan, alam nila na lalabanan sila ng Bren Esports. We've seen this time and time again. Few making this kind of play. Before siya mahuli, he was ready to press the second skill. The moment, the instance na lumabas yung Bren Esports, instantly kinontrol niya kagad yung tatlong heroes. Even though he died, it sets up for a wonderful clash for Onyx PH in this area. And makikita natin dito parating na si Hate. This is the cleanup na hinahanap natin. What they need to do here is just bring down the HPs of Bren Esports, and dahil nasa isang lugar sila, they are bursted down easily by the Lunox, by the Roger, and the Uranus. That's the reason why Bren Esports, they lost all the heroes here. This is because of the location of where the fight was, and after that, it was just cleanup for Onyx PH, and Bren Esports lost game number 2 because of this play from few. Onyx PH, they were just ready. That's the answer. They were just prepared entirely for what was to come, and that was the reason why as to how Onyx PH won game number 2. Absolute brilliance from both of these teams, but Onyx PH, they were one step ahead. Looking at the game, nakita natin dito sino yung mga valuable players natin, and ito yung ating MVP brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. MVP of the game, KDA 0514, net worth of 11,642, damage dealt 29,727. Medyo mababa lang naman. Pero that specific knock-up, alongside Iacnus Winter Truncheon play, set up the success here for Onyx PH. After that, it was just the mind games ng Onyx PH. No? Handang-handa sila sa kung anumang play na ibabato ng Bren Esports, and napakaganda ng ating game, and we are looking forward to game number 3. So casters, feeling ko excited na kayo. So let's go ahead and go to game number 3.
You know what, Midnight? Excited is exactly what we are. Watching that replay, that analysis beautifully done. I'm excited to see how Onyx PH is going to play off on Game 3 as well. But by the way, MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free the game great with Smart, free games for all.
Yeah, and looking back in the highlights of Game 2, Rockhard, we were quite thrilled to see how Onyx PH did that epic comeback in Game 2. They were down 13, 14k gold, and they finally got their opportunity, and they capitalized on it so well.
Yeah,
and
that was basically a comeback of a comeback, where Bren Esports was supposed to come back, but then they got Onyx PH came back again. So that was nuts. That was insane in terms of like the results of the game, but you also have to think about the decision making that came into choosing the fight by few with the diversion.
Yeah, with that diversion, they actually chose to try and end it there. That one moment of greed, that one moment of lapse, I think a mental lapse for Bren Esports. A very small moment. I feel like the shot call was this. Let's try to get them from behind. We have the diversion. Let's group up. Get them one by one. And they didn't account for the fact that they already had backup. They forgot. What blinded them in that decision was the greed to just end the game immediately and just sweep out Onyx PH. And after that bad call, again, that wasn't a bad call entirely. It was a good call.
It was a good call. They got a kill. By the way,
you know what? That's what happened in Onyx PH Game 1. It's like Onyx PH gave them a taste of their own medicine, starting a play only to get cut south midway that play.
I mean, I have to agree. But again, before we get into it, let's find out who will make the smart choices in the draft. Catch it next, brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free the game great with Smart, free games for all.
Yeah, and let's see on how they're going to approach the draft, or who's going to make the smart decision rather in this draft, because Game 2 and Game 1 was explosive. It was filled with a lot of amazing moments, a lot of moments that you regret that happened, or even a lot of moments that made us think that miracles are possible, but there's no miracles in Game 3.
Yeah,
this is winner takes all, with Selena being the first ban for Onyx PH.
Now, if we're talking about the picks and bans, I want to ask you, do you think the Roger, which is, if you're reading social media right now, like people are saying, there's like a guy who said, Roger 100% win rate something. Pick Roger 100% win rate. I'm not sure. I don't know who that guy exactly is, but do you think that, except for the games earlier, you think that Roger has a good place with players like Hate?
Well, Roger did have a good play in Game 2, but in terms of finding a good place inside the meta, I'd say that there are still better options, but it was banned in Game 2. We did see Yi Sun Shin and a Claude ban coming in Game 2, giving Kyrie, or maybe Hate in that game in particular, the option to just go for Roger instead. I mean, you already have two of the best marksmen banned out. Might as well get the second best, or perhaps the best option after the Claude and the Yi Sun Shin.
You know what the funny thing is? In this draft, since we started, no one's touched Lancelot.
Yeah, now that
Despite
both players having talented Lancelot players.
Yes, I mean, we got Kyrie, we got Hate, we got Carl TZ, no Lancelots today. No, it's funny because, again, actually all weekend, I think.
I think there's only just one Lancelot game.
I wonder why.
I wonder, yeah, you know what? A lot of the coaches think similarly in MPL. A lot of them actually draft to, let's just say, a little bit of the international meta, even if we're considered as the best region for MLBB. But in terms of best picks, another B is Benedetta out there, with J, or maybe Onyx PH rather, locking in the Benedetta as their priority pick, stealing it away from Carl TZ, who have been playing Benedetta quite well in this series.
Yeah, he's been nuts on the Benedetta. I don't blame Onyx PH, but I'm pretty sure they also have a good Benedetta player, and also can be flexed. I love that they can flex this hero around for their almost half of their lineup, which is again a good strength of Onyx PH. They got very flexible players. On the other side, though, Brand Esports get consistent results. Aside from the misplays on the later parts of last game, Brand Esports has actually been tearing it up.
Yeah, Brand Esports have been playing well. The only problem from Game 2 was they actually had a little bit of the boo-boo that you were talking about.
Literally
an accident.
Two accidents.
Two accidents.
Right? Other than that, Brand Esports was consistently giving good results.
Yeah.
Which you kind of have to wonder. Brand Esports is usually very accident-free, especially in the early parts of the season. So I'm wondering what's happening to our friends Black and Yellow.
Maybe we are seeing a very lax Brand Esports rather in this first series.
Probably.
Of course, this is a regular season game for them. I feel like Onyx PH, they know that they're rebuilding. For Brand Esports, they're trying to at least maneuver around the regular season once again. Maybe this is like a slow burn for Brand Esports.
Right.
They know they're good, but they're going to take a little bit more time to be in their best form again, especially coming in from the off-season. They tried new things. Again, we talked about how the nerfs were particularly targeted in what happened in M2, and that means that their strengths are actually limited now in terms of their former form. But Brand Esports drafting an Alice and a Farsa, that's a lot of magic damage for their first few picks.
That's also a reason why I love both of these teams. Look at this. They just basically interchanged a few things. They swapped out heroes. It's like they play very similarly. Brand Esports and Onyx, they kind of play similarly. And that's also one of the reasons why I love watching Onyx PH play. Because, as we mentioned earlier, Onyx PH, one of those few teams that can really tear up the win streaks that Brand Esports does, and they did it quite early today.
Yeah, and it didn't even go for a streak. It was literally just one game for Brand Esports, and they finally, this is the clapback. It's happening now. It's going to happen in this fashion, in this very theatrical comeback, where we lose all of our turrets, almost get our behinds delivered to us by actually losing that game. But again, one or two tragic mistakes for Brand Esports. It was more than enough for Onyx PH to just get back in this game, get that win, and extend this series to Game 3. For Brand Esports, we could see that I feel like I could feel through the monitor right now that they're a little bit more tense than what they were feeling in Game 2. By Game 1 win, they were actually just chilling out. Now they're you know how when you get serious, you suddenly crouch a little bit while playing? Like you sit down, and then you crouch, and then you just hold your phone hard, and you know it's game time.
Yeah, I feel like that is exactly the mindset right now. Brand Esports, maybe they thought, we didn't finish this as quickly. I think we gotta bring out the big guns here. And when Brenny Sports gets into that, oh wow, okay, Lancelot band, appreciate it, Onic PH. And they know that this is one of the Carl Teasy specialty. Obviously, he's gonna have a skin after it. So yeah, and the Diggy is gonna make an appearance.
Could this be a tank Diggy similar to what we've seen last, I think, yesterday from Aura? I think it was from either from Aura PH or Work. I think it was from Work Osterforce who actually locked in a lot of tank diggies in that game. So let's see if it's going to be the tank diggy coming in from Bren Esports. But so far for Bren Esports, they already have a good beefy front line. A lot of damage coming in from the far side. And Diggy offering a tiny bit of added protection for Bren Esports. And for Onic PH, let's see on how they're going to respond to these 4 picks. Because so far, they still haven't drafted, or perhaps they've already drafted their core.
You know what? I feel like this is going... Oh, there you go. As I'm going to be a Cho game for Onic PH because Jay just loves that and they do pick it up. And, Kaja?
Yeah.
Wow, this hero, welcome back.
Well, I mean,
long time no see.
We've seen a few Kajas from...
Way before.
You know, Kaja, I would say that
Even
it's
the rap
very
games.
particular in terms of delivering things in games, delivering heroes rather. It's very particular in what its role is in a team fight, so it's easily telegraphed. I think it's a better way to paint it that way.
It's also a flex, man. We expect Jay to always go for the show, but finally Yaku's back on his show, and Jay is back on his Kaja. That's something that's super duper interesting, and also Granger. Granger.
Yeah, we have, wait, Claude was open.
No,
Roger
he
was
banned,
open.
wasn't he?
Wait, I think
Claude
a lot
was
of
banned.
marksmen are open in this game, but we do see Granger getting locked in by Onic PH, as this is quite interesting coming in from Onic PH. They're on their way to get a possible sweep, a reverse sweep rather, for Bren Esports, and if they're able to secure this with these interesting Kaja Granger picks, Bren Esports might be in for a surprise that we actually mentioned early might have been a bad omen for our world champions.
We'll have to wait and see if that's going to come true here as we load up into game number 3 for Onic PH versus Bren Esports on week 1, day 2 of MPL Philippines Season 7. Now, we were talking about how Bren might be a bit lax, starting to become lax, and they're getting into game mode. What does that actually mean? Like, are they even going to play a lot more aggressive? Are they going to play more calculated? What do you think?
I honestly think that Bren Esports, they're going to play a little bit more calculated at this game. Bren Esports, they know that they went in too aggressive for their final fight in Game 2, and that costed them the game. And if you come from that mistake from Game 2, usually your response in Game 3 is to play a more calculated game, a more disciplined game. Again, not that relaxed anymore. You can't do whatever and expect no consequences. And for Bren Esports, drafting this way with both range damage and protection, I feel like the game plan is just that.
Yeah, just basically slow it down a little bit more. Kind of have more respect for what Onic PH is doing on the field. And I like it. I really like it because, again, Carl TZ is on a hero that doesn't really fight early game that well. That's the Granger. You kind of need some heavy physical penetration items for the Granger can do some pretty solid damage. And they will have to respect the jungle early on. Plus, this is also an opportunity for Onic PH to go for those jungle invades.
Yeah, and Lar might be just too aggressive for that jungle invade. The Electro Final Blow might be just it.
That's it, exactly. Oh, a miss! That was a big miss there on the Flame Shot, but the kill was the goal of the carry with the first blood. Again, it's not just one, it's the double. And then they can get through more here. They go for that big trill. Juicy turtle going over the gate would be big. Steal from Rebo will not succeed.
Oh no!
With the kickback. Oh my god, they kick out Rebo! And that will be Lusty going down as well, for sure.
Oh no! Kyrie with a double kill, ending that fight 4-0-0. Onyx PH was unreal. That comeback from Game 2, it's still bleeding out in Game 3 in Bren Esports. The Kings might look wounded in this fight.
Apparently, all you need to do is make the gods bleed a little, and that's going to bolster your confidence in taking a team fight.
Oh no!
They absolutely did!
What? A 3v1 in the top side, resulting to another kill going to Kyrie. And we have to take note that Kyrie has not burned his battle spell just yet. He still has that flicker for any aggressive play or any defensive play. And that's a 3-minute clock of destiny for Kyrie, and this will just swing a lot of good things for Onyx PH and for Bren Esports. Slowing down the game is indeed the only option that they have unless Onyx PH pulls a boo-boo of their own.
Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought that Kyrie would be able to scale this quickly, this much? So Slapteasy is getting on the top side on the Pito, has Fiend members going in for the kill, will be able to drop out quickly. And again, we will see that a little bit of latency on the observer. Don't worry, that doesn't affect the game. So here we are, Bren Esports buying some time for carlsen on the Granger to go online.
Yeah, and going online with the Granger is the goal for Bren Esports right now. That's not easy! Compressed to death! And that's another easy kill for Onyx PH, and the fight continues!
Keeps on going as we see Bren Esports. They are... I can feel the concussion of the kills happening here. The rest of the members, they're slowing down, man.
Yeah, and for Onyx PH, it looks like Bren is shell-shocked with what they're doing, but that's a feathered airstrike!
Second turtle of the game going over to Onyx PH. Oh man. And Kyrie with a monster kill. Can't even get more if he wanted to, but decides to back off, leave the rest to the team, and it should be no big deal. Slapteasy under the turret has that extra 20% defensive options, defensive capabilities, but will not help him in the long run.
What is happening in this Game 3 Rockhard? We're looking at a 10-1 kill score in the favor of Onyx PH, who was below around 14k gold lead in Game 2. And wow, Bren Esports, it looks like they've been... I'm not quite sure how to put it into words. Bren Esports, it feels like they're not Bren Esports.
Yeah, they feel like they've been neutered a little bit. You know, I think that's what you're looking for. As we do see Onyx PH playing so confidently with the kickback. There you go, with the Way of the Dragon. It's not easy, not even able to react in time. Ranger again once more with the Death Sonata, able to slow them down a little bit. Godlike still gonna be on Kyrie. Delore as well, going down as an answer, and Bren Esports gets a kill of their own in that exchange.
Finally, Bren Esports answers back, but that's just one step for Bren Esports. They need to make sure that this one good thing that happened to them will give birth to more good things, because the gold lead is only growing for Onyx PH. We're looking at a 4k gold lead, almost turning into a 5k gold lead for the side of Onyx PH, and this is quite huge 6 minutes inside the game. We're yet to see Kyrie once again in the fight, but take note that Kyrie is a 7-0, and this is a Lunox that will hurt and might just overpower Bren Esports in a fight that might happen in the next 2 minutes. Bren Esports, they need to take it slow, and they need to avoid Kyrie in all costs.
Not to mention, Yaknu had that turtle buff earlier on. So now they have so much gold to deal with. They got more items, which means they're more likely to win this coming turtle fight. And that is scary to think of, considering Bren Esports, they got a great deal of skills out very slowly, and that's going to be a kill. Lusty, just for the vision, won't be able to even make it. There's the Flicker Red! What an aggressive play there! The Divine Judgment slows down, takes out Q, and that's going to be the answer by Bren Esports, down in the dust.
Onyx, it's all been Onyx for the past few minutes, and Onyx is not yet stopping here. They're going in for Flapteasy. They're gonna get down the turret in the bottom side. Oh man, Onyx is playing out of their minds right now in Game 3 of Match 2 in Day 2. This is like they're not rebuilding at all. It feels like they're already in the zone.
Yeah, in fairness, Onyx has been playing together with this roster for a few months now. We have seen him in a few different tournaments, different ones, and they have been showing signs of improvement, but not by this much.
Oh no! Farsa just going in with a feathered airstrike, getting a kill, and that's the third kill of you already. Might be good for Ben Esports here, but they are already down to their inhibitor turrets. Only the mid lane and the top lane turrets has the second tier turret and make that the mid lane only. Ben Esports, they're slowly losing map control, and you know how important map control is.
Yeah, Brand Esports always drafts for map control. Almost always with heroes such as the Farsa, such as the Diggy. Get those bombs in, get those bombs on the bush, they can give you vision. However, again, that's not becoming enough, man. The team fights are starting to go in favor of Onyx almost all the time.
Yeah, and Lar, he needs to make sure that he stays a little bit safe here. He's in a very dangerous position. Feathered airstrike will deal a little bit of damage, but that's going to be just a little bit of tickles coming in from Bren Esports, and tickles are not what they need. They need actual damage, they need actual kills, they need actual objectives. Because if you look at the scoreboard right now, they have no turrets pushed, and that's 0 for Bren.
Yeah, 7,000 gold at 9 minutes in the game. They also get the bonus, the last minute turtle for Hate. Now, Hate on the Benedetta is just a different beast altogether. I think he just enabled so much for Kyrie. And I can imagine what he can do now that he has the turtle buff.
Yeah, and now Bren Esports, they need to win this 4v1 or make that a 5v2, and that's the ultimate!
Another one by few! Again, Divine Judgment by Jay on the Kaja. Just catching Bren off guard each and every time. I cannot believe what I'm doing there. And they can go for the push here. Very little that Bren can do in terms of wave clear.
Yeah, and the Divine Judgment has been on point for the Kaja. Flicker in, get the priority target. Onyx PH on a roll right now. Might be the inhibitor straight into the top side. That's the damage going in!
Oh my gosh, this should be a very difficult push here. But it's not. Onyx PH are making it work so well. And now 10,000 gold lead against Bren Esports at 10 minutes. This is unheard of.
Onyx PH just silencing the doubters. 10 minutes in, 16-3 is the kill score. 10k ahead of the world champions. Top side is open. Lord is spawning 50 seconds from now in Onyx PH. It looks to be their game to take.
Absolutely. Touted as a very, very difficult fight. Supposedly for Onyx, they make it look so easy, man. And I gotta find out where Bren Esports is keeping the guns, because I don't see him right now.
Yeah.
Carl TZ 0, 1, and 2 on the Granger.
Yeah, and for Carl TZ here, again, reigning finals MVP, it feels as if that they're giving this game to Onyx for free. They haven't been showing up, as you said. Where are the big guns? Where's the game face on? Where's the game, let's say, the game difficulty? Where's the boss music for Bren Esports? The Bren Esports should be the final boss for any Philippine team, and looks like the boss music is not playing for Bren. The boss music is playing for Onyx PH.
I mean, we were talking about that. They're supposed to be the big villain, the big final boss, the world champion. So far being handed a very, very decisive battle here by Onyx PH, definitely flexing each and every turn. Goldgraph is a steady uphill climb here. No signs of slowing down.
And Onyx PH, they've been finding objective after objective, and Bren Esports, they look shell-shocked. They don't know what to do against this Onyx PH squad that's just rampaging around the map. The top side is open, and mid lane and bottom lane looks to be the next objective to take for Onyx PH. The Lord is a big option for them to start, but again, what happened in Game 2 is that the Lord was the factor, or maybe the X factor, that tilted the game towards to each other team's favor in Game 2. So the Lord is quite risky, not just for Onyx PH, but for Bren as well. If they're able to contest this, if they're able to steal this away, this might just be Bren, but it's going down too fast.
Yeah, and I don't think there is any way for Bren Esports to go near the Lord, let alone go out of their base.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be a lock-in. That's just the enhanced Lord coming in for Onyx PH. probably won't be enough to go for the push unless Onyx PH can make a pickoff. Because right now, despite being behind by almost 14,000 gold, Break Sports has still got some clear on their side.
Yeah,
as long as Rainbow stays alive.
And as long as, few as well, they do have a lot of range, a lot of magic damage, a lot of wave clear, as you said, Rockhart. And this is the same scenario that they put Onyx PH in Game 2. If miracles happen in Game 2, then I'm quite sure in Game 3 it might just happen too. For Bren Esports, this is the perfect setup to a comeback that they did not want to see in Game 2. This might be their comeback to the comeback of the comeback in Game 2, and there are just layers upon layers of gameplay, and this might just be the final fight.
And here we go. It's going to be a big kickoff here for Jay. Fails on the flicker, but L is going to be able to force off the time journey from Lusty. Another rest of the fight is happening around the turrets. Flicker out by Flap Easy. They get hate, and that should be it. But looks like it's going to be the Onyx victory instead. Beautifully done there by Onyx PH, beating the world champion, Bren Esports.
What an achievement for the rebuilding Onyx PH squad. Their debut match in MPL Season 7 against the world champions. They beat them down 2-1 in a miraculous comeback in Game 2. And in Game 3, a dominant showing coming in from Onyx PH. Even the players can't believe what they just did. And Onyx PH, my applaud to you. You have just played an insane match against Bren Esports.
Again, this winning moment is brought to you by Master. Hindi sila na GG. Instead, they bought their clay game with Master. Sikreto ng mga gwapo.
And for our English broadcast viewers there, Sikreto ng mga gwapo means it's a secret of handsome men, just like Rockhart over here. And Master, one of our sponsors, of course, and I just have to say, Onyx PH won, and if I were to choose like the clay game of that game, or maybe the guapo of that game, just gotta say, Kyrie looks great.
Kyrie looks great, but I think Jay was the undisputed king of the flicker in with the Divine Judgment. He got so many kills, enabling Kyrie to make the big plays. A big props to the rest of the team as well, just keeping up with the fast tempo of these two players. And I gotta say, this is a brand new Onyx that we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen.
Quite exciting. It is just day 2 of MPL Season 7 just yet. Rockhart, I feel like Midnight has a lot to say about this game too.
Me too, man. I'm excited because we have seen a big turn of events. Let's throw it over to Midnight, our analyst, for the postgame.
I'm pretty sure nobody expected this kind of result, but Onyx PH, they did prevail and they are the better black and yellow team today. Once again, welcome back to the Analyst Desk. My name is Midnight and pag-usapan natin kung paano nanalo ang Onyx PH against Bren Esports. Let's start it with the draft. Medyo nakakaano din, parang mapapaisip ka, bakit nga ba nag-Ranger last pick ang Bren Esports against the Uranus and Akaja, two heroes that are really good against the hero. Dagdag pa natin dyan, yung pagnakaw ng Onyx PH ng Benedetta against Bren Esports. But syempre, kailangan din natin tignan yung result ng iba pang stats dito. Brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game rate with Smart, free games for all. Gusto kong makita rito actually, yung stats and itemization ni Kylie on the Lunox. Really, Onyx PH, they contributed a lot, specifically si Dilar at si Kyrie dito, both on the Uranus and the Lunox. Why is this important to highlight? If you look at the items of Dilar dito, no, after the Oracle, after the book he went for the Oracle, just look again the damage output of Bren, it's primarily magic for the earlier parts of the game habang wala pa yung burst damage that comes out from the Granger of Carl Easy. Actually, very interesting din this Carl Easy dito, nag-brute force muna bago nag-Blade of Heptasis. He needed the sustain. Kaya ang sabi ng Onyx PH, okay, ang damage output lang nila is the Farsa and the Alice. Now, Onyx PH on Kylie, no, si Lunox dito, he went on to become a force to be reckoned with in the early game. He was standing at 7-0-0 under 8 minutes in. So this Lunox performance was really great from Onyx PH, not because of the not because of Bren playing underwhelmingly, but because of the nature of the hero. Ganyan lang talaga yung nature ng matchups. It's good against Alice, good against Granger, even though it's bad against Farsa, it's good against the Pakito as well of Bren Esports. So kaya naging maganda rin yung performance ni Kyrie on the Lunox. Now, these stats are brought to us once again by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game rate with Smart free games for all. Yung pag titignan naman natin actually, no, yung mga naging key points dito for Onyx PH as to how they dominated the map against Bren Esports. These game highlights are brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game rate with Smart free games for all. Dito, makikita natin, okay, Bren Esports, they are trying to contest the objectives against Onyx PH. But again, the nature of the matchups, it's just favorable for Onyx. You have Lunox, you have Uranus, you even have Benedetta that can be the frontliner against the lineup of Bren Esports. It is a Granger jungle on their side. So all they need to do on Bren is control the heroes and hope that the Granger is able to burst him down. Pero pag tinignan nyo kasi yung heroes ng Onyx PH, they move around a lot. They show the Benedetta, even the Uranus. So it sets up a lot of space for other players of Onyx PH just to, be incredibly annoying against Bren Esports. Makikita niyo rito, no, itong play ni Delar, even though he ended up feeding himself, it is what the hero does. Talagang, ang gagawin lang ng Onyx PH dito is move around the map, look for potential pickups, and try to fight with the Uranus and Lunox. Because wala nga answer ang Bren Esports dito, they didn't have the right heroes to deal with Onyx PH's heroes, they naturally ended up losing the game. Actually, sinerte pa nga si Onyx PH kasi yung Lord doon, bumaba muna bago rumekta ng base, escaping the clear prowess of the Barca. And those are the moments of Onyx PH against Bren Esports. Very exciting stuff, no? Napakarami natin pwede expect. And ito, pwede natin expect din yung MVP on the side of Onyx PH. Brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. Marami nag-doubt sa switch up na ginawa ng Onyx PH. Putting Kyrie on the support role was really the right choice. Kita naman natin doon, very confident and very dominant on the performance on the Lunox. Kyrie standing with KDA of 802 really did perform a lot. Kill participation of 69%, damage dealt 20,907, even though yung objective damage na medyo negligible yan dahil Lunox naman siya. But the thing is, the presence of Kyrie on the team fights were really something. Onyx PH, they did a lot to bring down the world champions on game number 3, proving na hindi porket champions kayo, hindi na namin kayo kaya. And Onyx PH, they made a statement on game number 3. Napakaganda ng araw na to. A lot of exciting stuff for the future of MPL. And I'm pretty sure na marami pa tayo makikita this season. Now, casters, I'll pass it to you guys.
Again, as Midnight did mention, unbelievable performance there, and who would have thunk that would happen? Again, welcome back here, and I just want to get Romi's final thoughts on that Bren Esports Onyx PH battle. Obviously, the victor in game 3 is going to be Onyx PH. What do you think about that, man?
Well, for Game 3, I'm quite sure that it was a bitter pill to swallow for Bren Esports. Yes, this is their first match in the regular season of Season 7. But man, they did not expect to lose to Onyx PH. None of us expected for Onyx to win. Not gonna lie, bro, but Onyx PH proved everyone wrong in this match tonight.
And again, I'm sure there's a lot of talks on social media for sure. I cannot wait to go on my phone and just talk to everyone, to all of you guys about this. I hope we get a lot of that done. And again, just to close it out, MPL Philippines Season 7 was brought to you by Smart. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. Again, all this happened right here, so let's throw it into the panelists for them to talk about it. I'm Rockhart, this is Omi. See you in a bit.
Sobrang exciting talaga ang mga naganap ngayon ng MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. Eto na, nakasali na ba kayo sa medical raffle triple draw. Sobrang dali lang nito. Ang kailangan nyo lang gawin is scan ang QR code na makikita nyo sa inyong mga screens. Ayan na! Pag in-scan nyo yan, mapupunta kayo sa mga set of questions, quizzes para masubukan ang inyong knowledge tungkol sa MPL, pati rin sa ating mga teams and players. At kapag kayo ay nasa top 10, pwede kayong manalo ng mga diamonds and skins and in-game prizes. Hindi lang yan, meron din tayong lucky number. So, memorize nyo ba yung ID number nyo sa Mobile Legends? Tignan nyo yung last 2 digits. Kung tugmayan at saktong-sakto sa 1-2 or 0-3 or 4-8, aba, iscan nyo na ang QR code na yan at first 3,000 magkakaroon ng in-game gifts at i-check nyo lang ang inyong mail doon sa mismo Mobile Legends app para malaman kung kayo nga ba ang nanalo. And, match up for today! Grabe! Tingnan natin ang resulta ngayon. Sobrang ganda ng ipinakita. Ito, yung LPE, nasusurpresa ba kayo dyan? 2-1 kontra sa NXP at sa Onyx. 2-1 kontra sa Ben.
Well, isa to sa mga predictions namin when it comes to scores. Pero ang nakagulat is yung actual game. Siguro tong scores na to, okay lang, hindi mangyayari to na naisip natin itong na pwede mangyari. But the way the games are played, kahit yung next play versus LPE, game 1, dominant next play, and then games 2 and 3, LPE with drafts and good plays that really play next play. At syempre, nobody could have expected that.
Oh, it's a reverse day. Now, in game 1, we see the team that eventually wins the series. Suddenly, they turn things around, and it makes such for a more exciting day, an exciting broadcast of MPL. Now, we see the 2 series that we have today end in 2-1.
Ito na ang ating standings. So far, namuna ngayon ang EXE. Pangalawa dyan ang Aura. At pangatlo ang LPE. Is this something na surprising para sa inyo?
Well, there's really nothing much to expect since first 2 days pa lang naman. What I did surprise me is yung top 1 talaga. Execution, hindi ko akalain na ganun kabilis. 100% win rate, hindi lang that series, but also when it comes to match scores, 2-0 against a team na in-expect naman natin na kayang pumaligtad, which is Omega Esports. So, when it comes to Aura, LPE, Onyx, and Branding, there yun yung mga other surprises, but the top 1, that to me is very surprising.
Marami din tayong mga magagandang plays na saksihan today. Let's take a look at the top 5 plays of the day.
Really excited to see what are the actual top 5, and this is Ben versus Onyx. At ito yung Mamba out, naghabol siya. It could have been a double kill for sure, but napakaganda ng play few, obviously.
Yeah, and then in the 4th spot here, more from Red versus Onyx. 8 gets taken out there. This is just good control by Onyx PH, so to turn things around. Kahit na si 8 yung unang napitas, it's their carry. This is what we saw, the early build-up of carry.
Oh man, this is Yakno for sure. Malapit na ba? But eventually, mas magandang trades na naman from there. I think yung word of the day for this series for sure is trading. Minsan yung mga team na nananalo sa Clash or sa game itself, ay yung team sa mas maganda palagi yung trade-off when it comes to fights.
Yep, non-stop back and forth for the entire season. And then 2-1 eh. Second play of the day, Iyaknu.
Oh my
This
God.
really opened up the possibility. Jay, yung third activation, Jeet Kundo knock-up niya. Really, this was the turnaround moment para sa Onyx to lead them to that game to win and eventually the series win. And of course, icing on top of the cake, double kill pa. And then I think it was a triple kill because he gets the last hit on Lusty. Yeah, it was yan. Yung triple kill dyan.
I like the fact that si Pilar ay attentive, nag-recall back to base agad siya afterwards. Really help the team. Whatever the top one is, obviously this one, si Yakto, ano na yung mangyayari, just popped a little bit, popped everything, and then hate, tamang timing, everybody else is low. Alam mo naman, Roger, fight rin yan ang lahat ng Roger users.
Oh, yung clean-up crew lang. Daming nabawasan na. Sige, linisin ko na lang. Like and pound. Free.
There was the J play here. The J, I like it. J plays.
The J plays. I wonder if it extends all the way to the J play. Oh, no, it doesn't. But yeah, it's still a really great set of top 5 plays.
Siyempre, 3 days tayo of continuous action. Meron pa rin tayong mga bakbakan na magaganap bukas na dapat lang tutukan nyo. So for tomorrow, 2 games ulit tayo. Aura PH kontra sa Blacklist at yung mga koponan na nakita nyo ngayon, sasabak sila muli bukas. Bren kontra NXP. Sino dyan ang talagang inaabangan nyo?
Oh my God, both of them for sure. So weird. It's just the second series of the day, of the third day ng week number 1, and we get to see Bren play against NXT, all the banters we have. This is the only time na makikita natin maglaban tong dalawang team. I would love to see na medyo dulo pa siya ng tournament, but first week highlight Bren versus NXT, come on.
Yeah, like we're gonna see it, and of course, Aura versus Blacklist. You're gonna see the coaching staff of Aura. It's Dale, it's Arcadia versus Coach Bonjan, who we've seen really pull up some really creative things. I think this is gonna be the first match na makita natin ang new look Blacklist that have been constantly improving in the off-season. Then yung sinabi mo, of course, laging mainit na Bren NXP. Tomorrow is gonna be a great day and yung perfect end to our first week ng MPL.
Beautiful.
Kaya dapat tutukan lang ang mga laban natin bukas. Maraming sorpresang naganap ngayong araw na to. Action-packed at alam ko lahat kayo nagsitayuan sa inyong mga upuan kung nabitin kayo sa mga naganap ngayong araw na to. Mamaya, makikita nyo ang Bren Esports sa MPL Chillax. Right after this, makikilala nyo sila. Tune in sa pinakabagong talk show ng MPL Chillax right after. At bukas kita-kits tayo, 4 p.m. Dito po nagtatapos ang aming coverage. Ako po si Mara Aquino, sa ngalan ni Wolf Raptor, ang ating anchor and analyst at sa buong production team. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat. Stay safe and have a good night. You've been watching MPL Philippines Season 7. MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. Ingat sa inyo lahat.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life. Simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one app. Experience more Giga moments when you make a smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know is T1? Simple, smart, ako. Sana, tuhasa ng kati. Yung kati na yan, dahil sa dandruff yan. You need Head and Shoulders. Unlike beauty shampoos, tanggal ang dandruff that causes kati. No more hassle sa moment. Goodbye na sa kati dahil 100% dandruff.
When you look inside the JanSport backpack, you see a story that started in 1967. Since then, our mission has expanded to helping protect our environment for future generations to enjoy. It's a work in progress. But just this season, we used the equivalent of 13 million bottles worth of recycled polyester in our most popular backpacks. When you look inside a JanSport pack, you see our commitment to this brilliant new planet we call home. We're just getting started.
Hi everyone, this is Captain Bernardo.
At ako naman po si Daniel Padilla. Guys, may PayMaya na ba kayo?
Kung wala pa, dapat mag-download na kayo sa Google Play or App Store dahil nag-download gusto ko kaya niyo.
Ang PayMaya is a mobile payment app using only your cell phone and you can pay practically anything kahit online transactions pa yan.
With PayMaya, hindi mo na kailangan magdala ng cash for your day-to-day expenses. Pwede kang magbayad ng bills, bumili ng prepaid loan, mag-online shopping, mag-send money, magbayad ng transport at marami pa.
Pero the best part dito ay may balik-balik.
Each time you use PayMaya, may balik sa'yo ng cashback at yours, kaya sulit ang oras mo dahil hindi mo na kailangan ng muna, and you can just pay using your app anytime, anywhere.
Kaya guys, huwag kakalimutan. Pag may babayaran ka, don't pay cash, pay Maya.
Guys,
You use power that breaks barriers. 더 기가 막.
Now in 5G.
Do you believe this is possible?
I do.
How do you know?
Simple, smart, acro.
Katalakan sa Pilipinas. Kaysa, guys, gumawa siya ng ito. Ikalag ba? Pemerintahan guys, cari ke cara yang lebih mati. Mana yang season? Mana yang belum? Guys, ano guys, isa na mga ito na. Ay, siya yung mga lodi. Okay guys, okay. Thank you so much. Share guys. Mata, babawi yan. Shoutout sa'yo, Mata. Mata. Gerald, Nicolas Paten. Thank you sa pag-share. Short naman na pre. Maganda na farm, mga lodi. Tatama na sa kali. Kailan next game bukas guys, panoorin yung next game nila kalaban nila rin. Bukas agad yun. Okay, shot here sa tubulo. Pleasure yung stream na para masyado ko. Para maging masyado rin, makakalayo din natin. Thank you sa pag-share ng stream. Okay, aircon meron na natin. Shoutout sa inyo guys. Shoutout kay Andre, Rafael. Thank you sa pag-share. Good. Yun na, Roger. Okay guys, masahin na na. May bago ako naman na yun guys. Analyze natin. Ito natin ako nakakabili sa YouTube. Parang ginagawa natin natin. Tingnan natin yung mga mali nila guys. Ito ba? YouTube channel natin. Gawa natin. Bakit tayo? Panahon nyo parang butak. Ito na. Back-level na sa Giri. Sakit mo. Sakit mo! Level na? Nagigigil na ako isa. Sabi mati. Ganun na guys. Panahon nyo parang matulog ulit. Inabot! Pero pwede pre! Nakapatay na ng unos. Isa sa kanya pre, dalawa. Shoutout sa'yo, Reynold. Shoutout kay Nidraya.